Hello everybody, this is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. Today I need to make an arrangement. This is one of the arrangements that we have on our website, and it's called Lavender Dreams, but they've upgraded it to a $100 arrangement. I want to say that it's a 55, a 75, or 100 they can choose. And so this is our $100 Lavender Dreams. I'm starting out with just a glass vase filled with fresh water, a little bit of fresh flower food added to the water, and we're going to add some leather leaf foliage. So I'm just taking my floral knife and I am cutting these stems just at an angle, and I'm tucking them right in to that water. I like to use leather leaf as a base just because it's inexpensive. And so I like to use leather leaf just tucked right in, kind of all the way around in this arrangement. Now you want to make sure that the foliage does not fall beneath that water line. When the foliage does, what happens is it just helps to increase the growth of bacteria. And so that's the reason you try to keep that greenery out of that water. If, for instance, greenery does get into the water, it's not a big deal. Lift all those flowers right out of that vase, clean that water, and drop those right back in. That's just going to help to keep bacteria from growing. So next I have a little bit of Christmas foliage or evergreen foliage that we're going to use. So we order our flowers from a company called Budsy, and they not only have fresh flowers, but they also have beautiful foliage. And so these evergreens actually came in just a mixed holiday box, which is really kind of fun because you just get a pretty mixture of different foliages. Now what I'm doing is some of this foliage is small. I'm going to take this and save it. We'll put it in the in a little bucket in the cooler, and we can use that for smaller centerpieces. So we try not to waste as much as possible. So I'm just taking the smaller pieces and I'm putting those to the side, and then the larger pieces I am using those in my arrangement. Let's see if I have something that might cut this, because this is a thick stem, but I'm going to see what I can do. Alright, so I cut that stem, and I'm just nestling that pretty mixed green, that pretty evergreen right down into that vase. The next greenery I have is some Israeli ruscus. So ruscus comes in two different varieties that we carry. It comes in this pretty Israeli, and then it also comes in Italian. Israeli is a more upright growth. So what I'm doing is going to continue to add greenery. Just add it until you're happy. Okay, so there is our Israeli ruscus. Next we're going to come in with some bells of Ireland. So I love bells of Ireland. I don't know about you, but I love a beautiful green bells of Ireland. So I can remember several years back when we could only get bells of Ireland during St. Patrick's Day. And now we use bells of Ireland year-round, which I'm so thankful. So I'm going to take this stem and I'm going to cut it at an angle, and I'm going to nestle it right into the center of my arrangement. I'm going to take my second stem. I like to pinch the tips out. If you like the tips in, leave them. It's completely okay. I just think they need a little haircut, so I always pinch those tips out. So there's my second stem, and then I have a third stem. Now sometimes my blooms are just too tall up the stem. I just strip those right off. Cut that stem at an angle, pinch that tip, and tuck that third stem right down in. So there's my 3 stems of bells. Next we're going to come in with some beautiful lavender stock. So stock comes in several colors. It comes in a lavender, a beautiful purple. It comes in a fuchsia pink. It comes in kind of it's called lemon, but it's a butter yellow. So I think stock is beautiful. Now, some people have a problem with stock, and it's because stock does have a wilty appearance. So it's really, some people like it and some people don't. I tend to be one of those that loves it. But my husband, Jason, he doesn't like it. So it's really one of those things. So I took 3 stems of stock and I tucked those right into that arrangement. Another wonderful thing about stock is it smells lovely. It's got a really pretty fragrance. Okay, so our next flower, we're going to come in with a white hydrangea. I only have 1 stem of white hydrangeas in my cooler, so we're going to use this beautiful stem. I'm going to take and remove any of that foliage. I don't have any quick dip, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to take my floral knife, cut that stem at an angle, and I'm going to nestle him right down into the center, right there of that arrangement. Our next flower we're going to use is a couple of stems of these beautiful white lilies. So I have a couple stems. Now these are called oriental lilies. Now there are other varieties of lilies. There's an oriental and then an Asiatic. So an oriental, when you think of the lilies that have beautiful fragrance, that's the oriental. It's a larger, showier lily. The Asiatic is the smaller lily, has no fragrance. Now the one thing about the Asiatic though is it comes in much bolder colors than the oriental. The oriental usually comes in shades of pinks and whites. It does have, I think there is a red variety, but it usually doesn't have near the choices of color that the Asiatic does. But they tend to come, the orientals are just so pretty. It's just a prettier lily in my opinion. So you will see me, I do use some Asiatic, but you'll see me using orientals mostly. Okay, our next flower we're going to use is I have a couple stems of green trick. So green trick dianthus is in the carnation family. I'll tell you what they really remind me of is, what is it? What is the name of it's Dr. Seuss, kind of a little Dr. Seuss tree, where there are all those little cartoons that Dr. Seuss has. They remind me of the little trees from Dr. Seuss in his books. So they're just kind of a fun, whimsical little flower. Now, dianthus is the carnation family, and the green trick is called green trick dianthus. So it's just a fun little furry bloom. It lasts a really long time, but love the texture. See how pretty? It's just a beautiful texture. Next, I'm going to come in with a little bit of yellow solidago. Everybody needs a little yellow solidago in their life. It makes me happy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these stems of solidago, cut those stems at an angle, and just nestle them all the way through this arrangement. And this gives us just a fullness, pop of color throughout this arrangement. All right, so there's our little yellow solidago. And then here comes the flower that makes this arrangement. So I have one more green trick, yay. So this arrangement, the Lavender Dreams always has lavender roses, and so that's going to be the last flower that we add in. I tucked in one more trick. I'm going to take these stems and I'm going to remove some of the foliage. Now, y'all, leave that foliage on if you can. Leave as much as you possibly can if it has pretty foliage on a rose. Because number one, it's free, right? It comes on the flower. And it really helps to fill up the arrangement. It really is so, so pretty. Okay, so I'm going to take my wire and I'm going to run it right into the calyx. So right up underneath the rose has a little swollen part, and it's called the calyx of the rose. I'm pressing that wire right into that calyx, and I'm coming around that stem. And then I'm going to take that stem and cut that at an angle. Now, if you don't like to wire roses, you don't have to. But let me explain to you why I like to wire a rose. Roses have pretty heavy heads for that stem, okay? And if the stem loses hydration and it gets really thirsty, it's hard for the stem to hold the head of that rose upright. If you wire it, it's going to guarantee that head's not going to dip. Now, it's not going to happen if the customer keeps this flower arrangement well watered. But sometimes people don't think about watering their arrangements. And so their arrangement tends to drink up all, the flowers drink all the water. So the flowers tend to lose hydration, right? And so those heads of those roses are going to dip because the heads are really heavy on these stems. So that's why I like to wire them. Now, if this is too much trouble for you, I completely understand. You do not have to wire them, but here at our flower shop, we do it. So, I always like to explain my reasoning. So, I always cut florist wires in half and use only half the wire to wire my roses. And at Valentine's Day, we might even use just a third of a piece. It doesn't take a whole lot of wire. And I like the wire shorter than longer because then I can still cut it with my knife and not have any issues cutting that stem. So I'm just nestling those pretty roses right down into this arrangement. All right, and the last thing we need to do is add a touch of ribbon, so I have to grab some. Give me just a second. I'm gonna do this pretty with the gold. So this is some of our ribbon that we have on our website. It is a wired 1.5 inch ribbon. It is an ivory or a cream with gold polka dots, gold metallic polka dots. I think it's metallic cream with gold polka dots. I'm going to take this ribbon, I'm just going to tie a whimsy bow. So I'm going to take the ribbon and I'm holding the ribbon where it's facing me. The print is facing me, and I'm going to make a loop, and I'm catching it between my forefinger and my thumb. I'm going to twist, a loop, twist, a loop. Come on, Osa. There he is. Hello, mister.